I welcome Arvind Singh sir, Tourism Secretary, Minister of Tourism, Government of India. I also welcome Atul Kumar Tiwari, Additional Secretary, MSD, and Neelam Shamirao, Director General NIESBUD, and Mr. Ritesh, and Mr. Balyan, and everybody who is participating in this program. So, gentlemen, as all of you know very well, that pandemic has hit every sector globally, and tourism sector is the worst hit. And one of the casualties in tourism sector is employment. A lot of retrenchment is going on. Not many people are getting out of the job. So, as a small effort from ITDC, what we have thought that the students who are passing out from IHMs and hospitality management, catering technology institutes and units and colleges, they should be given some kind of training in entrepreneurship, because providing employment is very difficult. Sir, that we thought that we should provide them some kind of training program in entrepreneurship, and whoever come show some interest in entrepreneurship will contribute to societies. And under Atmanirbhar Bharat, we will coordinate with the banking system and the financial institutions and try to provide them some space in the government offices in a transparent manner. That among these groups, there will be the competition, there will be tenders will be called, and through transparent procedure, they will be given some space in the government offices to start with. In Delhi, we would like to start in Delhi, and it can be scaled up later depending on the success in different states. In fact, I have already spoken to few of the chief secretaries and a few of the commissioners in customs and income tax and other government departments who agree to lend their building space to these organizations in their respective state governments. So with this, I request Tourism Secretary Sir Arvind Singh sir to give his opening and inaugural remarks.
Yeah, thank you, my colleague CMD ITDC, all those who are present here on this VC online from the different ministries, NIESBUD, and the motivational speakers and the other officers of ITDC who are online. This is a very welcome initiative, and I did not repeat. All of you know that the calendar year 2020 has been a very bad year for both aviation and hospitality, where tourism of all forms took a nosedive. And we are seeing some encouraging signs in the last quarter of the calendar year 2020, when domestic tourism is showing a rebound in certain parts of the country. But still in the metros, there is still a challenge, because business travel is yet to pick up to a totally. The conventions and other events that what we call MICE, that meetings and conventions and all, they are not happening because of the corporate sector shifting to virtual meetings, and also the restrictions on weddings and other large gatherings is also proving a damper. But outside the metros, we are seeing very encouraging signs, and in certain parts of the country, like recently I was in Jammu and Kashmir, it is very difficult to get hotel rooms for months on end. For instance, at Gulmarg, there is no hotel room available till April. All hotels are full. So these are encouraging signs that we are seeing in certain parts of the country, that domestic travelers have started to travel. Indians who were going abroad now don't have the option, so they are going and spending time at local sites. So that's an encouraging sign. And we know that the industry provides direct or indirect employment to approximately 5.5 crore persons. It did pre-COVID. And with this, growth in domestic tourism that we see, definitely the chances of the revival of international tourism, there is a lot to wait for, because the international tourist visas are banned in the country. As and when we open up, depending on the scale of vaccination, as it happens in our country and abroad, because the problem is that our major source countries are US, UK, and Europe, and the disease is very rampant there and prevalent there. So, with less than 3 million foreign tourists visited India in 2020, a dip of around 75% as compared to the previous year, due to the travel restrictions imposed by COVID. And the industry is therefore foreseeing approximately 70% job losses of directly or indirectly unemployed people. And in view of this, what ITDC has come up with this initiative to create entrepreneurs under its Entrepreneurship Development Program is very encouraging and timely. And I know that with the support of various organizations under the MSD, such as NHMCT and NIESBUD, all interested graduated diploma holder students and professionals who have lost their jobs will be approached for enrollment under this program. ITDC and NIESBUD will support the candidates in various ways, ranging from supporting them in formulation of projects and business models, assisting them in procurement of loans from banks, regular checks and support and audits, to registration of enterprises of trainees and regulatory compliances. And ITDC will also conduct regular checks and support and audits for a period of 1 year. Entrepreneurial skills will be imparted to the candidates at Entrepreneurship Institute, NIESBUD, under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship at Noida, and a pilot batch will start shortly. So, as I mentioned, these are very tough times for the industry. The industry is looking at, apart from the revival of demand from the domestic and in the international sector, it is also expecting certain support from the government. And we are in talks with the various arms of the government, be it the finance ministry or the commerce ministry, for extending relief in terms of taxes or infrastructure status or other such, which will ameliorate a lot. But definitely, this program will help ease the pain of job loss, which is a reality that we have witnessed in the last year during the COVID period. So I wish the program success, and I'm sure it will help meet a very timely requirement of providing entrepreneurship to those who are losing jobs in the tourism sector. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your insightful message, sir. We will take your directions and we'll work towards that. So can I request for a keynote address, Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari, IAS, Additional Secretary in the Ministry of Skill Development. Mr. Atul Kumar Tiwari is from 90 batch from Karnataka cadre. He has worked in various capacities and contributed immensely to the growth of each and every sector where he has worked. And he was PS2 Minister for Urban Development, and he was Joint Secretary Textiles, and he was also Additional Secretary in the Ministry of INB. So with this varied experience, now recently a joint skill development, I request Atul Kumar Tiwari ji to give his keynote address, please.
Thank you, Kamal Vardhan Rao Garu, Abhi Singh ji, Neelam Rao ji, and other distinguished panelists. Tourism, whether you talk about the contribution to the GDP or number of people employed or job created or forex earned, it is one of the topmost sectors in our economy. And as Arvind Singh ji has very briefly but very pointedly explained that it went through some bad times, but we can still see that travel and tourism is about to grow again, basically on the domestic industry. From the ministry, we are very happy that the NIESBUD is joining hands with ITDC in starting this the program to create entrepreneurs under the Entrepreneurship Development Program. On the skilling side, I would say that we have around 20 QPs, which are the job roles, and EE, which is the English Employment and Entrepreneurship, which is around 40-hour courses obligatory in all these QPs. And the NIESBUD certified trainer is also required for a training center to get the affiliation of the Tourism and Hospitality Skill Council. We hope that after these skill courses like culinary skill courses, people can also start and become an entrepreneur in terms of cloud kitchen, or if they have got trained in guest house caretaker, and then they can also start a bed and breakfast unit, and do marketing through various platforms like Yatra, Make My Trip, Airbnb, etc. Or if somebody has done the qualification pack on meeting, conference, and event planner, they can also try to become an entrepreneur in areas of event manager or set up event management companies. And India, with all its uniqueness, is also known for its innovativeness. And I'm sure that given the guidance jointly with the ITDC and NIESBUD, the candidates will come out in flying colors and become entrepreneurs and add to the national skill pool, quality pool, and also add to the country's economy. From the ministry side, we'll be First of all, I would like to congratulate Kamal Vadan Rao Garu for taking up this initiative, and also will commend NIESBUD for showing the flexibility of joining with ITDC, and we hope this program will meet the success and it will be replicated as early as possible in most of the countries, most of the states in India. Thank you very much, Rao Garu. Thank you so much. Wishing you all the best.
Thank you very much, Atul Kumarji. Thanks for your comments and support. And, I would like to request now, Srimati Meeram Chandi Rao, IAS Director General of NIESBUD, for her comments, and in fact, she has been very supportive. When we discussed with her, she immediately told us that NIESBUD is prepared to cooperate with ITDC's efforts, and their staff also was very cooperative with us. They said they will take it forward, and we have signed an MOU with NIESBUD. I request Meeram Madam to give her remarks.
Thank you, Kamal Vadan sir, for introducing me to the panel and the future trainees of NIESBUD who would be listening to us. All the distinguished panelists who are present here. And I say I'm extremely pleased as the Director General of the NIESBUD, that is National Institute of Entrepreneurship in small businesses and development of those. You would have heard enough of culture of air, learn to say my pleasure instead of the phrase often used no problems when a guest asks you something, or raise the service bar. And of course, it's not about food, but about people. So hospitality in sum total is all about the services we render to the customers. This is something, it's a kind of a finishing school which ITDC is running, one of the best, would have trained you into arts of those service mentalities and prepared you for that. However, we cannot predict the vagaries of nature or unpredictability of Mother Nature bestows on us. And these were tough times indeed, because 2020, 2020 and now in this year, although things are looking up and it's good to be optimistic, but we must also know things are changing because of unprecedented disaster. When they change, then what is your preparedness for future? Would you like to go in a way where business is as usual, or would you like to do things differently? And that's where the NIESBUD would support you to learn to do things differently. And you will listen enough of these examples from Mr. Balyan or Ritesh ji or Gyan Bhushan ji today, who have done and chosen to do things differently. And I'm sure they would be very, very encouraging. They are encouraging personalities. They would tell their encouraging stories to you. NIESBUD, in a structured manner, friends would engage with you. It would try to help you understand your personality types, to assess and see that how much of entrepreneurship and kind of added advantage your personality comes with, and also the strength, weaknesses therein, so that you could work and gear towards it. This whole endeavor, and I should say it is a very, very thoughtful thing which ITDC and the Ministry of Tourism has come up with. We would be collectively undertaking this course for you all, where we would look at the awareness programs. We will go through the standard managerial practices, look at the elements of costing, financing, raising the investments, and of handhold and mentor you over a period of time. We have a dedicated faculty out there in NIESBUD, and I'm really happy that we have embarked on this journey to be undertaking this program with you. What we are really looking at and doing differently, we are not trying to really push you in setting up only the food businesses or only the businesses in running a hotel. There is a whole world of new things that are emerging today. And we are preparing for those very new things which you could go out and tap. Look at the beautiful theory of collectivization. How, as a collective group of young pass outs, young graduates of ITDC, you could form and formulate a union, an association, or a self-help group kind of a small group, and work towards doing smaller kitchens, smaller restaurants, or smaller units in not only the government canteens, but the public sectors and the private sectors, and over a period of time really come up with your own brand. So to work on the principles of collectivization and what it makes to be a successful collective association, that is the trait that we would be really working upon. We would possibly expose you to the art of, and which I'm sure we will rather learn from you, to be the art of YouTubers, and there are a large number of them who are really earning out their living on the YouTubes and Instagram today by doing these beautiful courses. In fact, that has really helped take up the art of simple food, to the gourmet food to be available in our own dining rooms. The cloud kitchens are really emerging as an area where it really doesn't require a lot of backup on the real estate funding and stuff like that. So we will learn with you, friend, to be really working upon that, how you really get placed into and settle into the new smaller businesses. And these are not only businesses about, as I said, only eateries and restaurants, but many more. We are also at an interesting phase where we are doing a small project on the kind of businesses, hospitality businesses, that holy cities need. And we're working on a small project in 3 holy cities of Pandharpur, Varanasi, and Hardwar. And we would like to see that some of our graduates coming in from ITDC team, would they like to really take up some of the projects out there? So those are the synergies which we are looking to work along with you over a period of next 3 to 5 months and mentor you adequately, so that instead of becoming, as the Honorable Prime Minister often says, the job seekers, you become the job givers yourself. And that's the kind of paradigm shift we would like in your entire being and personalities while being at the NIESBUD. I would again thank Mr. Kamal Vardhan Rao, who has given us this beautiful opportunity to be interacting with all the trainees. I would often see you at my campus and through the VCs, and help understand how you all are progressing and what are the difficulties that you are facing, and if so, how we can remove all of them. Do embark on this beautiful journey of self-exploration, self-enterprise, and let us bring the entire project or the entire thought alive with many more graduate entrepreneurs of ITDC doing their own businesses, rather than going back and serving in maybe some hotel that doesn't have a soul and has only physical walls. So thank you all, and congratulations once again. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Neelamji. Thank you very much. We will have to work together for the successful implementation of this project. Another most important thing, organization which is needed here is the institution which supplies the manpower. That is the NCHMCT. So NCHMCT, headed by Sri Gyan Bhushanji, who is the CEO. So I request Gyan Bhushanji to give his comments, because ultimately he is the supplier. So without the supplier, there is no scheme here. So he provides the raw material for this entire project. So I request Mr. Gyan Bhushan to give his thought and vision about this project.
Okay, thank you very much, Kamlaji. I'm really thankful to you for taking this, I would say, a brave step in this current scenario, because you know, when all the bloom and everywhere people were grappling with so many problems in the industry, I think this project you thought about, I think 4 months back actually. So I remember you were giving this seed thought, I would say, about this particular project, and we were not very optimistic then, but now we are more optimistic, of course, because things have started moving in the correct direction now, and this is what is needed today, that we handhold people and the students of third year and who are there in the National Council umbrella at different IHMs, different institutes, that how do they take their career path forward, because there is a lot of apprehension in their minds that with the industry going down, with the demand collapsing, so what will happen to the supply, stock of supply, which is already there, in terms of there are several people who have lost opportunities and who have 4 or 5 years old in the industry, not well established, so they are still struggling. When you through this in terms of your thought process, this reminded me of one theoretical underpinning which we actually learned in our college days. There was one theory of George Akerlof, the Nobel laureate, of the market for lemons. The lemons they call in slang in US the old cars. So he proved how the asymmetry in information between suppliers and demand, supply and the demand, people who are doing supply side or demand side, this asymmetry of information brings the quality of these services or the product in the market. The quality of the product suffers because the best people or the best product doesn't come in the market, because the price is fixed in the market for lemons at the average of the best and the worst. So the best one will keep away from the market. They will not participate in the market because they think the average price is lower than what they are worth. So they will not work, and people, and in the second round, the more and more people will join that, because the average price goes down as we go from one cycle to another cycle. It's not that complicated, because I'm not able to maybe properly explain in this 2 minutes. But if you have a chance, please look at that model. But the learning point from that model is that the asymmetry of information, because between buyers and sellers of, in our case, the supply side is by the IHMs, for example, and the demand side is from the industry and the people who are traveling and who are going to be there in the tourism sector from some time now, and already some of them are already there in the safe kind of environment where they can feeling more confident to travel and do tourism that way. So coming to the main theme of today's discussion and the course forward, we have to be very practical. So in terms of practicality, I think I would just give you some data, because I was just collecting this some time back, that for example, in the last 5 years we have done something like more than 2 lakh people have been trained in the entire ecosystem. But this includes, of course, hospitality, tourism, and other various kinds of tourism and travel sector, like adventure tourism, or maybe some kind of linguistic trainers. So when we talk of giving them entrepreneurial skill, we have to be conscious of the fact that the industry today is multitasking. So unless until you can do a lot of things, for example, we started a course, I think 2 years back, for the homestays. So a homestay owner needs multiple skill. It's not that I just train him in a kind of multi-cuisine cook, we call it, or just a housekeeping thing. It doesn't help him. He has to have a proper understanding of some basic accounts, not accounts in a technical sense, but at least he should write down, okay, these are my expenditures, these are my revenues, and how do I connect, and how do I make, because ultimately 90% I have seen these entrepreneurs fail because of the lack of management skill in terms of finances. They just go on spending little bit, spending, doesn't keep track. Initially they put a lot of money, and then the revenue doesn't come because the environment is very uncertain. And there are competitors. I remember hotels model, entry, exit, and all kind of things which is happening in the sector. And this is a very easy entry and easy exit sector, because this is an informal sector. So people come, people go very easily. And that is the problem for us, because we are unable to keep a track. So in fact, I am struggling with MSD, and MSD is also appreciative of this point, that how do we keep track of a person who is trained by us? He takes a training of 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and then he goes. So till the first point of his either placement or his entrepreneurial, he gets some mudra loan, or he gets some trade license to do some small restaurant. Till that time we keep track. But after 3 months he changes his job. 3 months, 6 months, this is the average longevity of a particular job, which is there typical of this particular sector. So we have to keep some system of that. That would be very, very important. So when we talk about the platform of keeping 5, 6 as a group, we must have multi-skilling people at that particular group. One person from finance, one person from maybe the kitchen, one person from say marketing, or who is good in some other skill set. So we have to keep that group made in such a fashion that all the skills which is required for somebody must be having some knowledge of some banking, or for example some legal issues. If for example in Delhi MCD comes, what are the different platforms he can go, or what he can do to redress his problem? These are, and in fact we can also involve few other NGO or the agencies also. For example, NIESBUD is one of the agencies, which is a National Street Vendors Association. So I'm just giving you a name, but there could be several other such organizations which can add value and bring something upfront to the table for us to take everything on board and go ahead and do it as a success. We should not be over ambitious at this stage. We should be doing maybe 5-10 pilots we can do, and then let us see what are the learning points, what are the things we did wrong, rather than what we did right. We always look at what we did right, but I think more importantly what we did wrong is also very important. So these things, keeping those things in mind, I would say that this is bound to do very good for our students who are there in 3rd year, or who have passed out 3-4 years senior in terms of their passing out. They would be roped in and they would be given a chance. It's a very good idea. I think we put all our energy into it. And Kamalaji, I think you are doing a splendid work in that sphere, and we are all supporting you from supply side, as you mentioned. Whatever is required from us, we will be providing, both in terms of any kind of work you give us to us, and in terms of whatever support you want from the National Council. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kanbhishan ji. Thanks for the support and kind words. And also, no, we will definitely take your suggestion seriously. Actually, it should be like that, that you start with 3-4 pilot projects and if maximum 10 pilot projects in Delhi, in and around, and where are we failing? That is the most important thing for taking up success stories. So we will take lessons from the failures and try to rectify and take the project forward. Okay, next I request the dynamo of the Indian inspiration, Mr. Ritesh Agarwal. Anybody who speaks about inspiration in innovation in the younger generation, which entire country has to look forward, has been watching, is Ritesh. Ritesh doesn't require any new introduction, so his deeds speak a lot. All entire younger generation, including my son. My son always wanted to meet him, wanted to speak to him, and role model is the role model for the younger generation. So I request Ritesh to help us and guide us how to take it forward and inspire our students who are watching this. Welcome, Ritesh.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shri Kamal Vardhan Raoji. As you mentioned, as it was mentioned by Shri Gyan Bhushanji earlier, I am aware that you have been planning this for a few months now. So I must begin by sharing that you have been extremely entrepreneurial all through this period of time in terms of making sure that all the students. Sir, can you hear me?
तो और वो उसको मैं भेजने वाला हूँ तो वो कह रहा है कि
yeah, we can hear you, Ritesh. I think one of the speakers got to put the mic on the silent mode. I'm just calling him to keep the.
Sure, no problem, sir.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Try to sort it out. मेरे ख्याल से sort out हो जाना चाहिए और नहीं होगा तो फिर मैं आपको बताऊंगा. तो
Okay, I think I will continue now.
अच्छा नहीं मैंने उसको कुछ शो करा.
Yeah, तो तुम्हारे सामने है स्किल डेवलपमेंट एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी. वो म्यूट नहीं किया है, मोबाइल पे नहीं. तो उसका लैंडलाइन पे फोटो को बोलो उसको म्यूट करने के लिए. Yeah, I have communicated. I have sent a message to this office. You continue, Ritesh.
Sure. I also was very inspired by Sri Arvind Singh Ji's remarks, which explained about how lots of new restaurants, cloud kitchens, and B&Bs can be set up. Srimati Neelam ji, who explained about how lots of young new businesses are being set up and people can put their own spirit in terms of what they're trying to and a soul to the business that they'll build. And of course, Sri Gyan Bhushan ji, who also talked about homestays and his encouragement. As an entrepreneur who has started this business and has had many failures and some successes, I can tell that basic accounting and financial framework is an extremely crucial part. And I think many people, when talking about the bigger things about market size, market share, etc., forget that at the end of the day, making sure that you have an income and a cost and then be able to create a value from it is valuable. So thank you so much for having me here. It's a real honor for me to come speak to all of you. Let me first introduce myself. My name is Ritesh. I started OYO, but very few people know that I started first as a front office manager in our first 2 hotels. So I did myself the front office, the housekeeping, the front of the house and the back of the house efforts. And one thing that is crucial is if you are in the hospitality or the food business, being able to make sure that you know how to do a lot of this execution yourself to deliver the high quality service for your consumers is the most crucial thing. Because as you convert from being job seeker to job giver, you are also somebody who should be able to make sure that the job seeker eventually becomes a job giver. So for that, you have to be able to train them, enable them, and so on. And the reason I began by saying this is because whenever I speak to young students who start their business, they say that, well, I'm just starting my career. How do I become an entrepreneur? I think I must share that not just me, if you see the best people in various hospitality, travel, accommodation business, they have started their life right from knowing the basics. So you know the basics, that gives you a unique strength. In the times of COVID, entrepreneurs are the ones who make crisis into an opportunity. Right at the leadership of our country, or at the leadership that Sri Rao Saab has been trying to set up, I think it is fascinating that all of the leadership want people to try and become entrepreneurs and make a positive difference. Let me share some examples. Back in the day, America was civil war driven. Entire countries in civil war, no income, no wealth creation, and Europe was the #1 geography in the world. But few American entrepreneurs like Henry Ford, Vanderbilt, etc., set up a bunch of businesses by their innovation and brains, not with money. But because their innovations were so good, the world wanted to put money in their businesses, and today US is one of leading nations. I think this is India's moment. India's moment to try and build the new generation of entrepreneurs who will create the big opportunity in the times to come. And I know it might sound like, and I remember, back in the day, it was our second hotel when some of the guests were coming, and the travel agent had said that the customers want to stay in the second floor only, and they need the shower in the evening for bathing. I requested if they can stay in the first floor. The agent said, no, I've seen the second floor. They'll only stay in the second floor. Otherwise, I'm going to take them to another hotel. Of course, I didn't want to lose the business. The trouble was the water tank of the first floor had the water and the second floor did not. So I was at the terrace trying to transfer water from one tank to another at the time when I get a call from a New York fund who's calling and saying your company will be worth millions. And I'm thinking that if this water goes on the other side, if I'm dealing with these problems, how will this company become millions? So this is a feeling that a lot of you may have, saying that I'm trying to do little things. How will my company become big? Those little things are the ones that will make your company big. So don't be frustrated or unhappy when you have to solve for little problems. Those are the unique opportunities that will make a long-term difference. When you look at small problems, don't be worried that, this, why somebody else not fixing, why am I having to fix everything? Like Sri Gyanbhushan he said, entrepreneur is, or a CEO is not chief executive officer. They are chief everything officer. So you should be able to learn and understand everything around yourself. You can't say that I only learned back of the house, so now why do I need to do check-ins? Why do I need to do accounting? And so for anybody who will start bed and breakfast based establishments, of course, all our leaders from fantastic institutions here are providing you a lot of support. I will also reach out to Sri Raoji and others, and I would encourage that we will find a way to make sure that if you set up bed and breakfast, we will ensure that you get the income and revenue to be able to run your property. With the COVID going out, I must share that our occupancy is already in India back to upwards of 50% of pre-COVID levels, especially in leisure destinations. So I would encourage that if you are to start a homestay in leisure destination, especially the unique leisure destination, like in Himachal, places like McLeodganj and smaller destinations there, or in Uttarakhand, these are places where we find big problem in finding supply. Like earlier when I was starting, I think, Secretary Saab said that he went to Gulmarg and there was no room. We are finding this everywhere, that in leisure destinations there are less accommodation available, and we'll be happy to support. I will just end with two things. Starting up is hard. Giving up is very easy. I have learned in my journey that most people give up way too early. For 2 years, I failed continuously, and I did not have any backup. My father had a small business in Odisha in a town called Raigada, where, and we have 4 children. So a lot of our families don't have the ability to support us, but giving up too early is the easiest thing. I would encourage you to make sure that you keep fighting, because whenever you are in a tunnel, you have to keep digging, and there is always the other side of the tunnel when the sunlight will come. Indian startup ecosystem is growing and flourishing. Never forget to use technology, and never forget to use or solve a problem rather than just trying to start one more business. If you do all of these things, I hope in the future I can hear that many other people from this attendees list will tell me that I listened to Sri Rao, Srimati Rao, Shri Gyan Bhushan ji, Shri Arvind ji, and now I have set up my company and it is so successful. So I wish you all the very best. And crisis brings an opportunity, and I believe your opportunity is now. Once again, thank you so much, Shri Rao, for your time. I must say that you are the quintessential entrepreneur. Every time I speak to Shri Rao about business, even though he's the leader of the business, he talks to me like an entrepreneur. He's always bubbling with new ideas about how to grow and make ITDC successful. So I hope others will also take inspiration from you among our attendees. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, wonderful, Ritesh. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Always inspiring. We will take these inputs and we will be bothering you with regular guidance. For regular guidance, we'll certainly bother you. I'm sure you will help us in once this societies are formed with these groups. I want you to physically meet them. Once we can have a meeting in Ashoka Hotel or any other hotel. So these entrepreneurs would like to meet you face to face and interact with you face to face. There we will bother you once again. Thanks, Ritesh. Thanks a lot. Now I welcome Abhinav Balyan, MD and CEO of Educator Extraordinary. See, government cannot do everything, right? Private organizations also have to come forward to help and motivate the younger generations. I request Abhinav Balyan to give his inputs, please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for inviting me for this panel discussion. I heard Secretary sir, I heard your views, Madam Rao's views. They're just phenomenal. Everything great starts with an intent. I can see the intent is here. The plan comes a little later. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
All right. So, when we talk about entrepreneurship, commitment is everything. And by chance, I'm traveling through Jharkhand, and there is an aspirational district called Chatra. And since morning, I was wondering how I'll be able to attend this webinar. And I made sure that I join it while crossing a red district called Chatra in Jharkhand. So I'm joining it from the car. Please excuse me for that in case there is any distraction. So I want to thank everyone. A few years ago, almost a decade plus ago, I was seated somewhere in an auditorium in IHM Pusa, New Delhi, listening to panel experts, people coming, providing jobs, some orientations. But over a period of time, I have felt that entrepreneurship is not an option. I have to repeat this: entrepreneurship is not an option. It is a choice. It is a brave choice, and people should consider it like this. I have certain questions for other viewers. Probably they will go home over a day or two. They will try and understand and think about these questions. 15, 20 years back, how many airports were there in India? Airports, when I say airports, it also means the food courts in the airports, the housekeeping, the maintenance staff working over there. How many malls and food courts were there in the metropolitan cities? How many super specialty hospitals were there in tier 1, tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities with food courts, housekeeping services? How many branded hotels, boutique hotels like Ritesh just mentioned, Oyo? How many of these things were available a decade plus back? How many commercial buildings were there using maintenance services, having those kiosks, having multiple food courts in their buildings? If you compare the data, you will understand the need of entrepreneurship. And when we say that people coming out of NCHMCT, they are trained to be managers and general managers. They are not just trained for food and beverage services. They are ready to handle other services also, security services, the housekeeping services. I believe, in my own views, housekeeping is one field which is, even when you are in the institution, you feel that more female candidates are inclined towards taking the housekeeping services. But housekeeping management can be taken up by entrepreneurs. They're smaller buildings. there are smaller training institutes where you need just 5-6 housekeepers or 5-6 people maintaining the building. It can be a great venture. And I believe it is the time for ITDC, who has taken up this big step, to come up and support the students. Also, one factor has always been there. I'm talking in the language of students so that they can understand it really well. We don't need great success stories only. We also need to respect and celebrate normal stories. No, we are not all going to make Marriott's and Oyo rooms. Fine, they contribute to the GDP, but we also need to celebrate smaller stories. You think about a smaller thing. How many French fries brands do we have? We need so many. So all what we are learning in the institutes, we can always go out and do it. Social sector I was talking about, parents feel that jobs are rather secure for them. They should not be taking up the entrepreneurship, and they're ready to settle for even less, but it has to be a job. They might be working for 14 to 16 hours in a job, break shift. You go to a banquet of any of the hotels of ITDC or Taj or wherever, you attend the banquet. There is a 6 months internship in the hotels, and those who choose food and beverage services and those who get appointed in the banquet, they would realize the break shifts and how hard one has to work. So if the similar enthusiasm you show for your own businesses, you will touch the sky. I can assure you, you'll all touch the sky. So, 20, 30 years back, there were only jobs. People were only inclined toward doing jobs. Businesses were not celebrated. People were not even getting houses on rent. And if you would go and say that I have a business, kindly give me a house on rent, they would not respect it. But can you deny Mr. Agarwal or Mr. Sanjeev Kapoor a house now? So things have changed. Things are changing. People are starting to acknowledge the efforts of young entrepreneurs, young Indians coming out of their shell and declining some of the jobs and using. I would also mention that there was an entrepreneur in Abhinav when I was in college. I used to do outdoor catering even though it wasn't allowed by my college. But I ended up from IHM Pusa. My principal warned me once that this is something you should not do that. But I realized my fellow students were coming from different areas of India, and since they competed with thousands of other students, not everybody was well-to-do. They all needed some pocket money. They all had some a quotient of entrepreneur inside them. So I used to even hire a buses being a student, and after the college hours, a bus used to come outside the college, fill it with the students, girls and boys. They used to go out, they used to attend best of the events, coordinate, and come back and earn money. But I was so scared. My parents also insisted that I should take up a job, even though I was earning way more than what the first job offered me. But I ended up doing the same. I joined the job just to satisfy probably my parents, and I was scared myself. What will I do? What if the business doesn't work? So we have to create an environment where this fear of failing is not there, and also an environment where normal stories are being celebrated. So if we do that, I can make sure that we will have thousands and thousands more business units coming out of this particular program of NCHM city students taking over brilliant ideas, coming out and doing amazing things. A few things I would say that we have to do in the incubation center, which entrepreneurship development program is there, but after all, it is an incubation center. We have to take over the normal fear of students who would be coming out in the market. For example, the legal work. Madam DG NIESBUD, she has mentioned about the legal work, accounting. There's several things in the hand-holding stage. The accounting software, technology we have to use. We also have to assist them with the legal rent agreements to safeguard their rights and interests. We also have to run their virtual offices. We also have to develop their profiles and websites so that they get recognition in the market. Most important, also write a letter of recommendation for them. There are malls who would say that, okay, fine, we do not recognize your brand. And if a letter goes from NCHMCT or ITDC run program, when we will say that they have done this fabulous course and this is how they are coming to you, we vouch for them. This is the program they have been funded from. The mall, the people who have to offer them business will understand it somehow. So these are few things. If we take into consideration, the journey will be very smooth. Also, I have a small little homework for my students to understand and consider. Kindly find out the value of Mudra loans disbursed till date. They run into lakhs of crores. Till 2019, Mudra loan disbursal was 10 lakh crores. Till 2019, I'm talking about. Total GDP, the total budget presented this time is approximately, with the deficit, is 33 lakh crores. Just imagine the amount of money that has been disbursed. And these are the loans. These loans are collateral free. So we will make your feasibility report. We will, assist you in the best of the manner. We will make your detailed project reports. When I say we the panel, we the responsible ones, we who have reached at a stage where we can assist and support our friends coming out to do their businesses. So with these few points, I want to thank everyone again. Being a former student of this great institution, NCHMCT, this council has done wonders in our lives, and it is, I'm sure, there'll be a day when we'll be so proud that we should be having stickers like Princeton, Harvard written behind our cars, and we would say that we are passed out of IHM Pusa and we are passed out of NCHMCT. We should also parallelly work on making a brand out of our students, so that when they go to the market, they're recognized as a brand ambassadors who are very well qualified and who can do anything possible under the sun. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Abhinavji. Actually, there seems to be some connectivity issue with the point from where my CMD, Mr. Rao, is attending. He's still trying to connect. It was so insightful to hear you. In fact, I'm still seeing you as a student only. You don't look like an entrepreneur. To me, you look like a student only even today. So before, by the time our CMD is trying to connect, now I request Mr. Bhutani, who is my GM of the division AISTM, who will be implementing this particular project. Mr. Bhutani will give you some insight of the selling features of this program. Mr. Bhutani?
Sir. Good evening, everybody. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Sir, am I audible?
You are audible, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Sir, am I audible?
Yes, Bhutani, go ahead. You are audible. You are audible.
Okay, sir.
Very much audible.
Okay. Okay. Today, I am going to share the proposal for conducting Entrepreneurship Development Program under India Tourism Development Corporation, ITDC, where we are going to give the employment opportunities for already graduated and fresh graduates in hospitality management. Role of ITDC. According to Hotel Association of India, nearly 3.5 crore employees in Indian hospitality sector might lose their jobs due to COVID. Now, graduates from hotel management institutes, recently unemployed and other experienced hospitality professionals who wanted to become entrepreneurs, we just wanted to support them individually to become entrepreneurs or to be part of the groups which we are going to constitute with registration of societies under Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and will support them to set up their establishments. We have received various forms from the interested candidates. We will be having a suitable selection process that will be followed considering the area of interest, capability, capacity, financial status, and just like Mr. Gyanbhushanji said, in a group we should include the trade experts from the different professions, like from finance, one from hospitality, other from the skill. So that we'll be including. where we are going to support, what type of business they can start with, like in hospitality sector, restaurant operation, home delivery of food, event management, canteen, cafe, manpower agency, pest control, canning preservation, or cloud kitchen nowadays. For this, a support committee has already been constituted in this regard with the following members from HRD division, Niti Aayog, Entrepreneurship Institute, Noida, National Council of Hotel Management, National Skill Development Council, that is Ministry of Skill Development, and a representative from the business industry. With the support of the National Council for Hotel Management and Catering Technology, all interested graduates, diploma holders, students, professionals will be approached as per their interest. Consent will be taken, groups will be made, individual projects will be advised, suggested as per their interest, they will be supported. Then after that, the selected candidates will be imparted 15 days training in NIESBUD, located under Ministry of Skill Development, located at Noida, on very nominal chargeable basis, for which where ITDC will sponsor the fees for the first 100 candidates. Obligations of ITDC. Initially, we are going for formulation of the monitoring committee and incubation liaison centers, reviewing of the application for selection considering different aspects, organizing training in coordination with NIESBUD, supporting them in formulation of projects and business models. Then we'll be providing full, complete support in setting up their business model, assisting the entrepreneurs in procurement of loans in coordination with NIESBUD, sourcing raw material, regular check during the operations, assisting them with implementation of systems of operations, basically how to set up. Like Gyan Bhushan ji said, it is very right, the unit starts and after some time it goes to closure. Reason being the actual assessment is not being done, feasibility is not being checked, initial investments are too much, initial operational costs are too much. So everything is to be calculated. Then only the investment as per as the operational cost is to be fixed. So everything will be taught to them, regular checks and supports even for 1 year till their first balance sheet will be done by ITDC and NIESBUD. ITDC has signed an MOU with NIESBUD to impart 15 days training program in preparation of their project reports, then registration of enterprise, market and financial linkage, and support in complete establishment of incubation centers. Now, I just wanted to discuss with all the students a simple project report. Like if you wanted to start a restaurant, you don't have a space, you go for rentals, you have got expertise. So how the financial aspect you think? After that, I'll discuss the other aspects also. Let us say for a restaurant proprietorship, location of the unit, its proprietorship, micro and rented accommodation, rented premise. So total cost of the project with interiors and all, let us take it 20 lakhs. Fixed capital, we are going for 17 and working capital 3 lakhs. Term loan for machinery 16.5 lakhs out of 20 and working capital limit and promoters contribution goes to 3.5 lakhs. Then after this, let us say we are feeding 100 to 120 covers per day with the average 600-700. So expected monthly turnover we have taken, let us say 20 lakhs. Now, how do we calculate the food cost? Nowadays, food cost goes from 30 to 40%. So we have taken 35%, let us say 7 lakhs. Salary wages bill, as per paper, it should be 12 to 15%. But most of the running units, they are moving from 20 to 22%. I have taken 20%, 4 lakhs. Electricity fuel, 5%, 1 lakh. Rental, we have gone for little higher side because I have taken a sale of nearly 60 to 70,000. It has to be a prime location. So 2 lakhs I have taken rentals. Loan payment, if divided for years together, 50,000 per month. Depreciation for cutlery, crockery, furniture, interiors, equipments, we have taken 50,000. Miscellaneous cost, which is fuel, pest control, packaging material, again 50,000. So which comes to nearly 50 lakh 50,000. So net profitability can come to nearly 20 to 25%, that is 4.5 lakhs. Now, how we will support considering the restaurant model? Now, how NIESBUD and ITDC is going to support the project? First of all, if someone is interested to do this type of project, first step is for the survey of the location and preparation of the feasibility report. Feasibility report means what type of restaurant is going to open, what type of clientage is there, what is the demand of the food which they are looking for, what type of service is required out that place. In a commercial center, it is different. In a residential center, it is different. So that is to be evaluated. That will be taught. Now, guidance on investment, like how much to be invested. I was just discussing with my friend. He invested nearly 80 lakhs in interiors, and the sale is 18,000 daily. So first of all, you have to evaluate how much sale you can get out of that unit. Accordingly, seeing the clientage and the status of the clientage around, the interiors is to be done. Considering the returns on the investment. So that part also we will teach all of them how much capital or revolving that this investment is to be done. Then assistant in arranging funds. NIESBUD will definitely teach all these schemes which is being supported by the government, Prime Minister Sir Yojana. So that will be taught and complete reports will be made, and the funds, they will totally assist and support in getting the loans funds from the banks for a project. Let us say now you have started where we are going to feed restaurant planning. We will teach them how to plan a restaurant, what is the total area, how much kitchen is to be taken, how much restaurant area, how the interior is to be done, what type of furniture is required, how the kitchen is to be made, washrooms, then stations, everything connected to the interiors also will be taught to all the entrepreneurs. Again, kitchen planning, they will be taught what type of cuisine they are going to serve. Let us say Indian, Chinese, Thai, which is very much in demand nowadays. So for Indian, curry, tandoor, then Chinese, then pantry, then dishwash, then pot wash, everything will be planned. How to go for ducting, everything will be taught to them, and then supported in setup of the kitchen and the total complete catering outlet. Stuffing. Most of the unit fail because of overstuffing and heavy salary wages. So as per the assessment, considering the sale, the stuffing is to be done, considering all the government norms like minimum wages and all. Menu planning, again, survey of the surrounding area, demand, menu planning is to be done accordingly as per your competitors, considering competitors, seeing the area, pricing is to be done. Purchase systems, again, perishable, groceries, butchery, everything will be taught to them. How to take on a reasonable rate with the suppliers, what are the systems to be adopted and to be audited. To maintain the quality of packing. Nowadays, after COVID, it's like the packing business has boomed up. Now, and the packing material, what is to be used, how it is to be packed. So everything will be taught to them. Again, marketing benefits, marketing is to be done. That will be taught to them. How to market the food products. Finance control and recording, that is the major aspect. How much expenditure, investment, what are the returns, that everything, how to make the sheets, that will be taught to them by the experts, finance experts from our team. So we will support them for 1 year till the balance sheet. At last, sir, I want to assure with blessings and support of all the seniors, our CNMD, DCM, sir, we will make this project a great success. Questions? DCM, sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Sir, now it's the question session. These participants, anyone who wants to go for the questions can.
Sir, there is one question. Karan has asked, what steps a student will have to take to set up his own entrepreneurial business?
To set up its own entrepreneur business, first of all, he has to see what area he is interested in, where he wanted to set up business.
Bhutaniji, can
Ji?
I reply to this one? I think that is exactly the course is going to do to you. It will tell
Right,
you
ma'am.
how to set up the business, what are the
Right, ma'am.
modalities to go into, and it will really prepare you for those answers which you are seeking in your journey to set up a successful venture. And
Right, ma'am.
we are not really going to be telling you like do big things or major things, like where we really have to find a large amount of capitals. We will give you a situation, a kind of orientation where you can come up with the smaller businesses in the beginning and then scale up once you establish yourselves. You have heard everybody on the accounting and financing. You are also aware 90% of the businesses, particularly on the restaurant side and hospitality side, closed down because of many reasons. We wouldn't want to be doing that. So we will really teach you all through this training the points required to be a successful entrepreneur and your own strengths which you can harness to become one.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. I think
There is
This
another
answer.
question. So there's another question from Prerna Pantri from AIHTM. She wants to know about the government catering tenders and how can she get one, and want to know how can this entrepreneurship development program or the panel could help or guide her regarding this.
regarding the government tenders, Prerna, first of all, what we are planning to do is.
Taniji, just leave it out. I'll answer these questions.
Sure.
The course is really trying to do this. Again, as you are, it's a wonderful question, Prerna. I must appreciate that you are actually already into the thick of the thing, and so are your questions. I can see that fire in your people's questions, that how to really kick-start the business. I'm sure all of you will be one. A good businessman. One, when you're looking at the tenders, all the government tenders are largely posted on the website of the government called tenders.gov.in. Two, when the tenders are placed, they ask for certain pre-qualifications like whether that association or that company is registered, what is the turnover, what is the experience, and so on and so forth. So while on one hand, your chairperson of ITDC is negotiating for the pass out trainees to relax some of these criteria, on the other hand, we would want you to make the collectives that I really spoke of initially as the self-help groups, the associations, and to really become a company which will go on to qualify for most of the government catering tenders. So these are the things which we will go through, and you will see that when you meet some of your own colleagues during the course in delivered, that come together and form those associations. So that's my quick answer to it as for now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
To supplement what Madam said, even otherwise also, if you see most of the government tenders these days, they tend to support startups, especially if you register as MSME. There are provisions that 20% work has to be given to them, up to at least up to 2% or 20%. They are exempted from EMD. There are relaxations in their experience criteria also. It also provides there is a provision that in case your rates quoted are 10 to 15% of the L1 or H1, a chance would be given to you. So government has already taken so many initiatives which will be helpful to all of you, startups.
Thank you, sir.
So
Any
there
more
is this
questions?
student. Yes, sir. There is this student Anuj Kumar. He's asking what is the process to enter the entrepreneurship program, like process.
Process is basically Anuj, you can apply. We have shared the email ID with all. Now I'll be sharing this recording with all the students. I've got data of nearly 14,000 students with support of Mr. Sir Gyanbhushan ji. So I'll be sharing all the link with all the recordings with all the students. You can apply. Then there is a system. We'll scrutinize. We'll talk to you on phone. We'll invite you. Then select the students as per their choices. And from next month onwards, we are going to start the batches with NIESBUD, where definitely you will get a chance in first or second batch. Please apply on our email ID, ITDC.
So
And what we will also do, we will post on our website also details of this scheme, so that those who are visiting our, and this MOT as well as MSc these also to post on their website about this scheme, so that those who are just remember.
I think we can post it on our National Council website also, and we will advise IHMs also, all the affiliated institutes under National Council, to
Yes,
also post it and make people aware about it, so that they can take advantage of it.
So that's
So one
wonderful.
more thing I was thinking, we'll sponsor 100 plus others also. We'll try to get it sponsored from somewhere. At least if we try to impart training to, let us say, 500 students, out of which if we create 50 or 30 entrepreneurs, that will be a great success. But they will, the interest automatically will be created when they complete the training. Yes, ma'am, please, Madam Rao.
What I'll do is just note this acronym down: NIESBUD, NIESBUD, NIESBUD. If you Google it, you will reach out to niesbud.gov.in. Just enter that on the screen. Maybe from tomorrow you will see a specific logo or a specific write-up for this particular program, where you can click and find all the information. So that would be easier for all of you.
Thank you.
And of course, ITDC website will have a backward linkage with ITDC website for the boys and girls who will come through sponsorship route. And as Mr. Gyanbhushan says, those who want to come and do the training, we will try to organize the batches, which can be also the paid one. NIESBUD doesn't really take very high fees. Some of you can find, if you can find those fee, we will be happy to support those with the specialized training program. Specialized in the sense, paid program. There will be sponsored programs and there will be paid programs. Right. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
There's another question from Vishnu Bajpayee. He wants to know how to create a society and how to register it. What will be the benefit of these societies?
In fact, again, as Madam has already said, this is how to form all these things. About this only, this training is being given you. How to start, all these questions will be answered in this training only. So
training only will be answering, yes, but we'll be training you, make you the groups in groups, and then yes.
Allow us to speak.
Let me also give you a very quick answer. You heard Mr. Balyan. One of the key things in any businesses is also to understand the legalities of those businesses. So there are legal aspects. So when we form the society, there are firms and society acts of the respective state governments. There are central acts. There is a company act for if you formulate the company. So what probably you would need to do is read up on those things. When you attend the course, we automatically take care of those things and try to make you aware of those legal nuances, which will help you in covering up those aspects. In fact, it also encourages the role plays, the entire training, to see that how associations can be formed collectively.
Another question coming from Neelmani Singh. He is asking, I want to open an independent bar. and what all things should be considered, all legalities and other important factors to be considered.
Again, same thing for this only.
Yes,
This
yes. Again, the same thing will be teaching you, but the main thing is that for a bar, there you can go. Search in Google. There are certain formalities to be completed for taking the bar license. You have to take initially the eating house bar. Then there are certain things like it has to be supported with ladies' gents toilet, store space, and then it should be having an area of the storage as per the norms. Everything. That details will be teaching you when you will come up for the training, that what all formalities to be completed, what are the legal requirements for opening a bar. Definitely we'll teach you at the time of the training. Yes.
Also, it's a beautiful idea that just come in, and I think the kind of questions your trainees are really asking are very, very good questions.
Okay, there is another question from Harshit. Ma'am, he is asking some help to receive regarding manpower agency. Lot of questions are coming.
Manpower agency, definitely, Harshit, you can start for that.
Bhutani ji, ek minute. Yeah, thank you. Just a minute, hold on. I would like to announce that we will try to create a mentor-mentee platform which will be as interactive as today's discussions with the help of NIESBUD and ITDC, where during the course of your entire training and even 6 months after the training, you could get all this information and all this mentoring which you are currently seeking easily. So those are the systems which we could create. I think पीयूष जी आप इसको थोड़ा सा सोच सकते हैं कि कैसे क्रिएट करें.
But we can even have some capsules made also of different courses. As I think we discussed last time also, we can have some capsules made of these courses and put them on YouTube and all, so that even those who are not able to participate physically can benefit from it.
They've been asking because different students on different corners of the country are asking. So we think, I mean, we can respond to some questions in mail. There's one question which I thought Mr. Bhutani would be able to answer regarding the Hotel Management College. Some students who want to look at the educational institution as such. So after that, we can answer the similar questions by mail also.
Regarding the opening for a hotel management college, who has asked this question?
I think Prerna is asking.
Okay, Prerna, regarding opening of a hotel management college, initially you need to have an infrastructure. Go to National Council site. There you will come to know what are the basic area requirements. But what I'll suggest, you go for a craft courses. If you have got a building, there also in like today, it's a good scope for running cookery or food production classes. There you can go for BTK, QFK or ATK. You can start with it. Later on, if you want to add on the other courses and get it like approved through National Council for degree or diploma courses, infrastructure is to be added. The requirements are there. Classroom requirement is there. Against number of students, faculty, classroom area, everything is there. That is available on National Council website. You can go through it, or any other thing, details you wanted to know, then you can be in touch with our executive at our institute later. Thank you.
We would be answering the questions via. We'll get that resolved, and we would request DCM sir to present his vote of thanks now.
In case there are no more questions, in fact, CMD could not still connect. So on behalf of ITDC and CMD ITDC, and on my own behalf, I extend a very warm vote of thanks to respected Secretary Tourism Shri Arvind Singh IAS for joining this webinar and sharing with us his valuable vision, valuable inputs and opinion today. A big thank you to Shri Atul Tiwari sir, IAS, Additional Secretary MSDE, for giving his perspective of the course, what he thinks about this course. which ITDC is going to offer. I also got deep sense of appreciation for Mrs. Neelam Shami Rao, IAS and DG NIESBUD, who is the most important pillar of this entire exercise, for giving her insight into the role and contribution of NIESBUD in this program, as they are one of the most important pillar of this whole program, as well as for answering those questions raised by the students. I'm sure she could satisfy most of the questions. We are also grateful to Shri Gyan Bhushan ji, CEO of NCHMCT, for bringing out role of NCHMCT in general, as well as for his specific program, for this specific program, and for helping ITDC in mobilizing prospective candidates for this program. And it cannot end without thanking two of the most dynamic entrepreneurs, Mr. Ritesh Agarwal, CEO Oyo Rooms, and Mr. Abhinav Balyan, MD and CEO Educare Extraordinary Limited, for sharing their motivational and encouraging experiences as well as advices to the freshers. In fact, their presence, I'm sure, brings out a bit of hope to all those who are worried about this corona effect, that in spite of corona, you can have people like Mr. Ritesh Agarwal and Mr. Abhinav Balyan. And we are also thankful to all the participants for whom this program is being conceived, as without their participation and the kind of questions they have raised, it would not be possible to move ahead in implementing this pioneer idea of CMD ITDC, who conceived this as a responsible step on part of ITDC. And finally, I would also like to thank our team of AISTM as well as IT division, who have coordinated and organized this webinar for benefit of all. And I once again thank all the participants and for their thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You are not visible earlier, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.